Hey, this is Al Laws, your host for Advice for Life, and I have my wife with me,
Hello.
Aisha Laws. As you know, every Tuesday we come together to talk about relationship and how to improve relationship, how to become better and more skillful in your relationship dynamics. As you know, we come every Tuesday evening at 8:30, and it is our pleasure to serve you, to be with you. As you know, we have a community of people who come together. They join us as we are here live every Tuesday evening. And so as I wait for my family to come on the live broadcast, I want to tell you a little bit about how you can get some more of Advice for Life. You can get as much as you want, actually. You can actually join us on our Facebook page, Al Laws Jr. You can follow me, and if you follow me on that, you'll be notified when we do our Facebook Live broadcast. You'll also be able to get access to the new series I'm going to be doing about how to relate to your money and to your finances. You don't want to miss that. That is going to be an exciting series, and only those who join me and are following me on Facebook are going to be the people who are going to be able to have the opportunity to get full access to that series. You also can go on YouTube, and all of our programs are on YouTube. So just look for and search for Al Laws Jr. and you can see in a whole array of shows. We have almost 100 shows on the YouTube channel. And you also can go on our website. That's advice, the number 4life.us. Again, that's the advice, the number 4life.us. Advice, the number 4life.us. And just hit on the podcast, and you can actually listen to the shows. You can listen to them right on your way to work. You can listen to them in the morning as you're getting ready. You can listen to them in your car. As you're going, when you're exercising. It's a lot of beautiful advice and insight for how you can really improve your relationships. So you don't want to miss that. You don't want to miss that opportunity. So I'm just checking in as we're doing a new format. As you can see, you're a little closer than I'm used to, so I kind of feel like you're right here with me. So you're right up. I don't see my wife in there, so I'm trying to get my camera guys to not just focus on me, but make sure that they get my wife in there. Thank you. You like that, didn't you? You like that. So what we're gonna, I just wanted to give you a little bit today, as I don't see people coming up yet on the live piece. So are we connected properly, Greg? Because usually I see my folks coming up right now. So I'm looking to see. Just one moment. I'm gonna check my technical piece, and I'm looking for the program. Do you have it up? You can see it?
Yes, I can see it.
Okay. For some reason.
James Jobin is on.
Okay. All right. It's not coming up on the computer for some reason. And yeah, that's fine. And Dale, maybe you can get my phone and try to make it come up on my phone. That way, grab that for me. You should have stretched out a little more. So I'm trying to get this so I can know who's on there. So we're trying something new. So just bear with us. So I have this story that just came to me because last week what we were talking about how we hold on to things and how that leads us into a place where we don't trust. We don't manage ourselves in that way because we have this tendency to want to hold on to things for a very long time. And so what that came to me, thank you, Galen, appreciate it. What that came up in me was, it's really because we hold on to things because we really struggle with forgiveness.
Right.
And I think it's really interesting because I don't know if there's anybody out there. Oh, there's some of my folks. I see you coming on. Thank you. I can see you now. Laura said hi. April's back with us. Pam just joined. And Angela. I knew my crew was still there. James, Joe Bean, Johnson. Hey, that's Joe. That's good to see you, Joe. So I recognized as I was thinking through that all of us want to be forgiven. Like all of us have this desire that we acknowledge that we fall short. We know that we miss it. And as I shared with before,
the word sin really means missing the mark. And we really miss that aspect of it, is that really it's us missing the mark. And we all acknowledge, so anybody that's on here right now and you haven't missed the mark, you haven't fallen short, you haven't sinned, you can get off now, because you got everything Advice for Life could give you at that point. So really most of us acknowledge and see that we fall short. And so when we fall short, we want people to forgive us. We want people to, exonerate us, to acknowledge that we're not perfect and we're trying to be and obtain to a certain level. And there's this very powerful story in the scriptures where a man was in debt to this landowner, and he was in debt, and he kept promising he was going to pay the debt, and he kept falling short. Every time he would say, "I'm going to pay you Friday," Friday would come, he didn't pay. Checks in the mail. No, I got to come in. Really, I'm going to pay you. I'm going to pay you. And he kept getting forgiven. The man kept showing compassion and understanding. Right. And after a certain point, he almost got used to the grace that this person that had loaned him this money.
It'll be fine. He'll forgive me.
He'll forgive me. Or he remembered the last person where he didn't really pay them back. They still were cool with him, and they just kept going through their lives, with this thought, I owe you money. And the other person's thinking, I know you owe me money. How come you haven't paid me? Oh, I mean to pay you. One day I'm going to pay you. Oh, well, one day. You said that 2 years ago. So
as soon as I hit the lottery.
So people have these little private conversations that are going on about things like that. So he might have had that experience, but now he's in a situation where, he comes and the man comes and he sends the police. And I see the smiley faces, people are laughing in the hearts because that's true. We know we all have had that experience where we're in the room with somebody and we're having this mental conversation about what's going on. So he's going to this guy, he's saying, the guy calls the police. He says, okay, I'm done with this. I'm taking you to court. I'm calling the cops. The cops come get them. They arrest him. He's on the way to court. He's begging and pleading. He's in the court. He knows that he's going to go to jail. And so, he's begging to the guy, please, me, I'm sorry it took so long. If you could just forgive me, my family is going through, I got a lot of issues. So he's just pleading and pleading for this person to forgive him. So the guy, good-hearted guy, he says, you know what? I'm going to forgive you. I'm going to let you go. It's just in my heart. God just put it in my heart. I see you. You brought your family. You brought your children here in the courtroom to make me. So they influenced me. I saw your little kids. I can't see your little kids, be left out there. So I'm going to let you go. So this guy gets off. He thanks him. He said, man, thank you so much. That was such a merciful thing. God bless you. I'm so grateful. I'm sorry for falling short. I promise that I'm going to make good on this. I know you've forgiven it of me, but I'm going to really make sure that you know that I appreciate what you did. You have such a great heart. He goes out to courtroom, gives his kids. He tells his wife, take the kids home. I got an errand. I got to run. I got to go talk to somebody. He goes to this guy's house, and this guy owed him like a tenth of what he owed this other guy. Right. So he goes to this guy. He knocks on the door, bang, 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 knocks on the door. He said, hey, dude, I need my money, man. The guy said, oh, I've been meaning, I've been working and trying to save, I've been meaning, I wanted to pay you. He said, no, I don't want to hear all that. I need you to pay me my money today. Like, I don't need no excuses. Pay me my money. The guy says, but I won't be able to eat. My children are depending on me to get food for the household. And he said, man, listen to me. That sounds like a personal problem. Like, what are you talking about? You need to get me my money. Like, I need you to do it. Let's go to ATM right now. I don't care if you pay your rent. I don't care what you have to do. You are going to give me my money today. The guy's begging him, pleading him. He said, man, listen, don't make me go there. Like, I will go to another level on you if you don't give me my money right now. So the guy goes, he gets the money. He gives it to the guy. He's probably not going to be able to pay all of his rent. He's probably not going to be able to feed his kids. The guy takes the money and he walks away, and he's excited because he got this guy to give him his money. Now, you would think after that happened that he would go and take that money that he spent all that energy collecting and go give it to the guy that forgave him. But instead, he put the money in his pocket and went out and bought himself dinner for him and his family to celebrate the court deal that he just got out of from the guy that forgave him. And then what Jesus said in the portion of the parable, he says, now, do you understand the lesson here? This one guy who owed so much was forgiven much. And the other guy who really owed little, he went and extracted from him that little and could not forgive this guy the little, even though he had been forgiven much. And that story always has impacted me. And of course, that was the Al Laws version of the story. I put a little artistic license and drama in it, but that's basically the storyline, that one guy got forgiven a lot and another guy, then he went right away and forgot that he had been forgiven and went and basically crucified and extorted from this other person money that was owed to him. So he didn't learn the lesson that he was supposed to learn in it. So I told the whole story. Why don't you
did. You did.
So what's your feedback on that?
I mean, everybody wants to be forgiven.
Right.
Everybody desires that. I mean, we look for it. We count on it. But how are we going to respond when that moment comes and it's our time to shine? I mean, not everybody knows how to shine. I think it's again knowing when is your moment. Is it your moment to forgive and walk past your offenses? Is it?
Right.
If it is time for you to shine, we need to step up to the plate and do the shining.
And I really, for me, what's really powerful about that is that we all do what I know everybody's saying, man, that dude was terrible. How could somebody do something like that? Like, what's wrong with this guy? But guess what, y'all? We do that.
Yeah.
We do that all the time. What we do is that we watch somebody offend us, and we will hold on to their offenses or their shortcomings, or we have in our mind, yeah, that's how they are. You know how they are. We talk about them in our mind. We talk about people in our heart. But we don't want people to talk about us. We don't want people to hold our offenses against us. We want people to forgive us, to give grace to us, to know that we're growing and trying to become better. And we don't want them to have evil thoughts and bad thoughts about us in their mind. We don't want people to assume that we're going to, let them down again because we let them down before. We want people to give us an opportunity to grow, to change, and we want to be in a state of forgiveness. I mean, we want God to forgive us, and we want everybody else around us. So when we're in relationships, we have this tendency to not do what we want others to do for us.
I think we hide from it, actually. I mean, we're actually escaping forgiveness. I mean, we've got families that are estranged from one another because someone passed away and left something more to another person.
Yeah, come on, talk about it, baby.
Won't forgive. Because you can't dig that person up and
make
be
them change the will.
Be mad at him. So you're gonna be mad at the one that's alive because that's the offense.
Right. And the person that died has made the decision.
Right.
But they're mad at the person who received something.
Absolutely. You know I don't got nothing. You got more than me. Right. So I mean we will we'll move out of state. We'll try and avoid our lesson, but it will follow us.
Yes.
The lesson that the first one was supposed to learn in the story was that he's supposed to forgive.
Right.
He was forgiven so much. He was supposed to learn that lesson.
He's supposed to learn that lesson.
And when he was in his moment to shine, he didn't want to learn no lesson. One time to learn no lesson in his mind, but guess what? It's coming back around.
That's right.
He's going to get another opportunity.
Right.
Or someone else is going to get an opportunity to forgive him, and perhaps he will reap what he sowed.
Right. He will reap, because the story goes on. I didn't tell the very end of the story. Hey, I want to save that till later on, so you stay tuned. But keep bringing your comments. Keep letting us know that you're here, that you're with us. I need to welcome my Facebook family as we're talking about this whole concept of really finding a place to be free and to
Yes.
forgive, because that leads to, and my wife's going to talk a little bit about how that leads to anger and pride and other things that really trap us. They trap us from really growing and really growing not only in the relationship, but growing in our ability to grow ourselves.
Right.
Like we trap ourselves in bondage when we don't learn how to forgive, and that's why in the scriptures, God said that forgive us our trespasses,
Right.
as we forgive those that trespass against us. So
As we.
so we should be in this process of understanding that we are always in that as we situation. We're always in a place where we need people to forgive us. We need to be forgiven. We need grace for the places that we need to grow. And so we should be doing that same thing as we see other people doing it, that we do not hold offenses against them, that we don't hold and harbor things with them because we fell short someplace in our life, probably and usually at the same degree and sometimes worse
Absolutely.
than somebody else has. But yet we want to hold them in prison when we are also guilty ourselves. So I'm saying that because it's a very interesting thing in relationship as you're trying to work through things, because you're always going to be faced with the opportunity of offense and misunderstanding and difficulty of communication and not being able to really get with what the person's giving you. And so you have to have grace. You have to have forgiveness if the person hurts you or the person does something to you in that exchange. You have to learn the secret of really forgiving. And as I said last week, when people say, I forgive, but I don't forget, then you've missed the whole point. You have not really forgiven, because it's you have to forego to give. That means you're giving grace, you're giving understanding, you're forgiving that person. And so if you're remembering it, I'm not saying you shouldn't learn the lesson, but if you're remembering it, you haven't really forgiven.
Right. Oh, I thought you were going to greet them.
I am, but go ahead. You had something to say.
Yeah, I believe that what you're sharing about forgiveness is so it can be so detrimental to us if we don't forgive. It's damaging, it's rottenness to our bones. We identify it as a friend, but it's really a foe. We want to keep it. We want to hold on to the offense. We want to hold on to anger or unforgiveness to protect ourselves. I mean, that's really essentially what we're doing.
Right.
We're protecting ourselves
Yep.
from being offended again, but it actually is a foe to us.
Right. Absolutely. Absolutely. It's
Not
actually
our friend.
right. We think it's our friend because it puts us in a place where we feel, because we're vulnerable at that point. And so we want to protect ourselves. So the way we protect ourselves, it says, you're shut out. I'm not dealing with you. Whatever you did, I'm cursing you, because that's going to make me feel like I'm casting you out. I'm putting you in your place of hell because you put me in a place
That's right.
of hell. And, as we know, that an eye for an eye, and, that we no longer do eye for an eye,
Or we don't have debtor prison anymore either.
This is right.
It used to be a time where that was true.
We got Dorothy Parker that's joined us. Hey, I wanted to tell you, look at your left-hand corner of your device and hit share, because that'll let people know that you are with us. I saw a lot of hearts and a lot of smiles and laughter in that. I also saw my hearts and thumbs up. Andrea said, we must learn to forgive ourselves, and then you can forgive others. Very beautiful. James said, I'm learning to forgive and move on. Because people will walk all over you. Yes. Bonita, I see you on there. Thank you for coming on. There was another comment in. I saw Christina. I see her on there. Sean. Remember, those of you who are joining us, I know you're listening. You're with us. Make sure that you either make a comment so we know you're there, because you can still participate with us, but we won't know you're there. Make a comment. Say hi. Do something. Let us know that you're here and you're participating. And remember to share. It's fair. Go to that bottom left-hand corner and hit share so you can let others know and be blessed by what you hear this evening. So what we've been talking about, I saw Aya on there too. Hey, Aya. I think it's so important because we carry around unforgiveness. Like, it's something that we carry with us. And sometimes we carry it in loads, and sometimes we carried it in little shells, like in a shotgun. We got extra shells of unforgiveness that we carry around with us. And we don't recognize that. And the reason why forgiveness is so powerful is because really, when you forgive, actually more comes to you than to that other person.
That's right. It's a secret.
It's a secret. You actually get more out of it than that other person does. And it's a beautiful thing, because what you're really doing is you're mimicking the God of creation. I mean, think about if somebody comes to your house and you let them use your house, you let them use your car, you let them have access to your possessions, and they come in and they tear it up. They treat it bad and they rip stuff and break stuff. And, you told them not to go in that room and they go in that room anyway. And you told them you said you can have everything in this refrigerator, just don't eat my crab cake. You can't have my crab cake because when I come home, I'm going to want my crab cake. That's everybody. That's people, for all of us in Maryland. We always we want our crab cake. So
and we get crabby when they're not there.
Yeah, don't touch my crab cake. And you tell them, look, I have my children are there. I need you to respect my children and my wife. Mm-hmm. I need you to treat my car a certain way. Don't, drive it wildly. So I give you these things, even though I give them to you. We all have provisions. We all have things that you have to do in order for you to enjoy what I've given you. Mm-hmm. But isn't it interesting that somehow we wonder why God would require something of us? Why would we be in a position where we would need forgiveness from God? And you want to know why we need forgiveness? Because we violate God's creation. We violate the bodies that he's given us. We violate the home, this earth that he's given us. We violate the things that he blesses us with all the time. We always are falling short of the glorious things that God has given us. Mm-hmm. And so, you would think that at least if that person was in your house and they violated all your stuff, broke your stuff, went into the room, you told them not to go, you would think that at least they would ask for forgiveness.
Right.
Even if they didn't replace it, even if they didn't have the ability to replace it, they would at least ask for forgiveness. And we get to places where we're so prideful that we won't even go before the God of the universe and ask him for forgiveness. Mm-hmm. And guess what? When you get forgiveness from him, you will be free, because the fact that you've forgiven gives you a release. But guess what? It teaches you also the lesson that was supposed to happen in that story. When God forgives you, you're supposed to be a vessel, a person who's willing to forgive that person their smaller sin, because God forgave you of all your sin and all your shortcoming and all your missing the mark. And now he's saying to you, are you going to be like that guy in the story? Are you going to forgive people of their little things and not carry around the thoughts and feelings and all the things that happen when you're carrying, this unforgiveness with you?
I mean, it's really the beginning of baggage is unforgiveness.
Oh, I love this, babe.
It's the beginning of baggage.
I love it.
We walk through our lives and we pick up baggage. But most of the baggage is unforgiveness. I don't like that my mom didn't come to my recitals all the time. So I'm going to ask her to not do this to my children or whatever. Right. I wish she would have done. So it's unforgiveness there. You'll
and if
see
she don't come to one of the kids' things, now
then it's on now.
I'm going off on you.
What kind of
you
grandma
always been like
you?
that. You didn't come to none of my stuff. I'm not going to let you do this with my kids.
Right. So it's baggage. So that's
Right.
baggage number one. That's the parent. You got baggage that's old,
Oh,
and you got
come
baggage
on,
that's
baby.
new.
Break this
so,
down.
So the baggage now, they carry it on wheels. It has 4 wheels.
I love it.
So that you can carry more bags and not be weighed down. Right? So now we got baggage from when we little kids.
That's right.
That we hold in our heart. We think they're just memories.
Oh, come on now.
But they're not our friends.
Come on
You
now.
could remember it differently. You could remember and go back and say, my mom, she worked so hard.
Right.
She was just tired. That's
find
how
the
it worked
good.
out. But no,
find
we
the-
need to create a bag. Because we like our bags.
Bag
we
lady.
like our stuff, right? We
what
can move
what you
on.
got in that bag?
Right. We move on.
You got something in
and
that bag.
why is it that the coach picked me out
Right.
of everybody and made me have to climb that rope in front of everybody?
Right.
Why is that?
That
Now
actually
we got.
happened to me, actually.
Did it?
Yeah.
Did you forgive him?
Yeah, I did. I think.
Okay,
let
well,
me
praise
check
God.
my
We
bag.
I'm gonna make you climb a rope and see if it come back.
That's right. Or,
see if you unzip a bag and go back in there and get it.
Or pick me out in the crowd and make me do something that I don't
Right.
really want to do. That would show it.
Right. We'll see how many bags is inside the bag.
Lord Jesus, help me
Because the
with my
bags
bags.
fit in each other now.
Oh, you
the
got
bags fit in each other.
You got bags within a
Within
bag.
the bag. That's right. So you got the coach bag.
You just brought that up. It was so funny. When you said that, it reminded me of on that Dr. Seuss show, the Grinch That Stole Christmas, and at the very end, they come out and they open up this thing that's supposed to handle meat like a turkey. Had your covering or a dessert, and they uncovered it. The one little girl uncovered it. Then another little girl, smaller than her, had another little tray that she was carrying, and she put it down, and they uncovered that. And then another little girl came out
Yes.
until they got to the end, till there was a little teeny, I think it was a strawberry for Cindy Lou Who, but they opened it up. That was so that's bags within a bag.
Bags within a bag. When you buy bags right now, you can get the giant bag that has the medium bag that has the tiny bag inside.
Inside.
And that's how we are. We do that for easy storage, y'all. So we got easy storage offenses
That's
and
right.
unforgiveness.
Come on now.
And we carry it through our life as we were in our playground or whatever, and we were rejected by a love interest, the first girl that ever rejected you or the first guy that ever rejected you. We keep that offense. That's how women are.
Right.
Or that's how guys do you.
That's right.
We keep that offense and we build protection walls around it. We get, first it was a duffel bag, now it's a hard case. Now it's a hard case.
Right.
And we protect our offenses as if they are ours, as if they are us, I should say.
That's right.
We protect our offenses as if they are us. They are not us. We can separate ourselves from our offenses with forgiveness
Yes.
and be free from all the bags and fly without checking anything. We don't have to find space in the trunk.
They got that
we
big
don't
bag.
have to.
The bag is this big. They got several bags, and they got the
Right.
guy to come over. Can you help me with all these bags?
Right.
You-
We
you
don't
s-
need the sky cap.
You seen the people that travel and they got I seen a lady one time, she had like 15 bags to go away for the weekend.
She
and
got a lot of stuff.
let us stuff. And her dog had a bag too.
We can just fly with our one little carry-on
Yes,
that
yes.
has our valuable jewels in it. The things that we want to keep, that are precious to us, that we don't need to store underneath the plane.
Oh yes, yes. I love that analogy as we carry things in bags, that baggage. That's what we talk about. Because actually, sometimes all of us know that we put things in suitcases to store them away. So we'll take old suitcases and store stuff in it. And the stuff will actually stay in there and get moldy and get, old. And, we don't even really know, but we keep that bag of stuff.
Oh, yeah.
And sometimes you have so many bags and so much stuff in your bags that you've collected. You, as you said, I love what you said about that. You begin to believe that that's who you are.
That's right.
So when somebody approaches you about something, they say, you don't want to go there because you don't know me.
They're really saying, wait a minute, I got it right here.
I got some anger that's been developed over years because of the stuff that I have in my baggage. So when they get into a relationship, they'll say, the person will say, you have to accept me for who I am. Okay, well, what does that mean? Who are you really? Are you
you know?
Do you know who you really are? Because maybe you are not who you really think you are.
That's right.
You're perpetrating something based on the baggage that you have, based on the unresolved issues that you have carried. And, that's why people are saying that, they'll leave a relationship and say, yeah, I brought a lot of baggage to that relationship. Mm-hmm. So they acknowledge it after they go in the bag and pull out the moldy stuff or act out of what's in those bags. But it's not until they have to leave the relationship, leave from it, that they have to start recognizing, hey, what is all this stuff I'm carrying? Mm-hmm. Oh, that was the baggage that I brought to this relationship. And so now I need to look at it. And sometimes people will, when they get out of a relationship, they will look at their baggage very well. They'll start cleaning house a little bit. But for some reason, they don't finish the job.
They don't finish the job. I mean, and that's why I love saying that one feeling word.
Right.
Because that one feeling word, it kind of leaves the baggage down on the ground and kind of lifts your eyes up to select that one feeling
How
word.
that baggage is affecting you and your feelings. Mm-hmm. So just to remind people who may be new with us, we talk about how to express your feelings. And if you want to express your feelings, you say one word. You say, I feel, and you say one word. Mm-hmm. And the reason why that's very powerful is because most of the time, the issue with us and the reason why we carry baggage is because we've been hurt, and we've been hurt usually in our feeling level, right? So we feel something, we're offended, we're hurt, we're vulnerable, so we want to make sure that we cast anybody out, any possibility. We may even take on anger or pride or other things in order to protect ourselves.
Those are the surefire wall builders, anger and pride.
Right.
They stand together.
Right. Go ahead. Say some more about that.
Oh, well, when you're offended, even with your love interest or your parent or whomever, and you've been offended, you say inside yourself, okay, well, I'm going to tell you what, that's not going to happen to me again. Not to me.
Oh,
you got to do the neck, though. You got to. It's not going to happen to me again. I'm going to tell you what I'm going to do. I'm going to make certain that the next up bat is going to have to go through this or that. That's pride talking. Right. Can you hear it? Can you hear it?
I can hear it.
That's pride talking with anger in the background.
Right.
It's talking with anger in the background. So that's what we do.
Right.
We do that to shore up the wall. So the wall to the city, in order to get offended, you only get offended when someone has identified a breach in the wall. So you've let down your wall and you allowed someone in your life and in your heart, which is a great thing.
Right.
And somehow they disappointed you. Mm-hmm. They've offended you.
Right.
And because of that offense, now you think it's time to build a wall again. Time to build
a wall again.
It might be time to change your standard of who gets allowed in.
Right.
That doesn't mean that you build, this enormous, super thick wall that doesn't allow anyone in.
Right.
You have to allow God to be your defense. You have to allow him.
And it's so beautiful. And this is real because when I met you, and you had two things happen to you before that. You don't mind me sharing that?
No, absolutely not.
I would just want to be real with people because I know you lived this. That's why I'm saying.
Let's be real.
That you lived this. This is not, you're just not giving people advice that you haven't lived. When I met you, you had been recently divorced.
Yeah.
And then you were in another relationship because you had told yourself, I'm not going to allow myself to not be in a relationship because I'm so hurt from the divorce that I had.
Right.
And so you actually that was a standard thing.
because you lowered your standard.
Absolutely.
You lowered your standard. And then that person actually, you found, did not appreciate your love and was not able to show you love, even though not only was it you lowered your standard, but like you really lowered your standard from my perspective. So when I met you, you were kind of in the end phase of that.
Right.
And so when me and you started engaging with each other, I always thought it was so amazing that you had this clear thing that you were not going to bring your experiences from your other relationships into our relationship.
Right.
And you would always say that no matter how hurt I was not going to allow this to kill my love, my ability to love, my ability to give, fully in a relationship. And you came in with your full heart, even though you were very vulnerable with me because you lovey-doveyed me. You chased me. You did. You chased me.
I stalked him, y'all.
So I think it was very powerful. I always respected that about you, that you were able to come in. And it's not that you didn't have any baggage. I mean, all of us have some level of baggage, but I'm saying for the most part, I saw you working hard to acknowledge within yourself that I can't treat Al in this relationship as though he is the perpetrator or he would do what somebody else did. That you took me on my own merit. You took me on, you let me bring my own pennies to the table, to the card table. You said, let me see what your pennies look like.
Well, there's a reason why I did that.
Okay.
And in my heart, I always feel I need to do everything I know to do. If I am above reproach in my love, then I know that the other person is what's going on.
Right.
So I'm brandishing who I am, and I'm going to say, okay, let's see what they do with that. Mm-hmm. And it might be vulnerable. It might sound like vulnerability, but in all actuality, I believe that God is my defense.
Right.
So even if I tell you my entire life story and someone puts it on, I'll do it again too. And someone puts it all over.
Do it again. You gonna do it again?
No, I'm saying.
You mean you would have done it again?
Yeah.
Okay, I got you now.
I would do it looking back. And I would do it again because I don't actually feel that level of vulnerability from telling a story that is only partially mine to tell.
Right.
These are other people's stories and how I encountered them and how they encountered me.
Right.
I have one part in it. Right. So it's not actually something wrong about me, except for the parts that are wrong about me.
Right. And owning your
and I can own that.
You can own that.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, I think that's so powerful, and we, when we talk about in the model, we talk about helping people see their process.
Yes.
And so that's why when we talk about it, we talk about looking at your intentions, looking at your thoughts, looking at your feelings, looking at your behavior, and being able to know where you are in that process. And we get stuck sometimes. We don't even know. And we wonder sometimes why we can't pull it all together. We can't get out of a certain thing that we do. So we repeat the same thing over and over again because we get stuck. And some of that of being stuck is really about whether we've forgiven the situation, the person, whether we truly forgiven them, because again, it's their fault. They did this. Yes, they might have done that. They did it. Mm-hmm. But you did it too. Mm-hmm. Meaning you've done something that you want forgiveness. And as I said, when you forgive, you are mimicking the God who has forgiven you.
That's right. And
so you get a release from that. You get empowered. And now you become able to go to your next thing, So, and sometimes that next thing is the next phase of a relationship. Sometimes that next thing, you can't have the next thing with children because your children do something. You got to forgive them, but you got to keep raising that child. You can't go get another child.
That's right.
So it's harder with people that are in your family, your brother, your sister, your mother, your father, your children, because no matter what happens, your mother's going to be your mother. You can't divorce your mother. At least they haven't started doing that yet. Have they started that in the United States yet? Because they're doing a whole lot of crazy changes that I don't understand. But last time I checked, you can't divorce your mother or your father. You can't, your brother and your sisters are your brothers and sisters. You can't change that.
Well, there's a reason why God created it that way. There's a reason why, whether I'm mad at my sister or I'm mad at my brother, no matter what, they're still going to be my sister and my brother. Right. And he did that because first comes the natural and then the spiritual.
Right.
So when we know each other by the Spirit, no matter what, we're brothers and sisters. So you can stay mad, but you're going to have to fuel that a long time. I mean, to fuel an offense your entire lifetime, you know how much energy is required to do that? It requires a lot of energy to do that. And that's why anger comes in. Because anger is so super energetic.
Right.
It's really, it's really strong.
Right.
It got a lot. It's like caffeine. It's like let me give that offense a jolt. Wait, this one's getting low. Woo, let's stoke that. Let's bring that up in Thanksgiving.
Yes. Anger has this ability because it's so verbose and strong and easy. Easy
and
flowing. Blinding. So yes, I like what you said. How did you say that again? That,
to fuel offense?
Yes. That your offenses get fueled, and you have to be careful because you feel energetic when you don't forgive, because it actually gives you this sense of, okay, I'm done. And this anger or this wall and all this stuff that feels like it's protection to you is really detrimental to you. So it's not really fuel, it's fool's gold. It's fool's gold. You think it's gold, you bite into it, you realize it's not really
good
what
for
you
you
think it is. That's why the scriptures say the anger of man cannot accomplish the righteousness of God, because you believe that it's accomplishing something, but it's really a deception. You're being fooled. You're not accomplishing anything. Nothing is really happening the way you perceive it's happening. And you believe by expelling your anger, you're getting what you need and what you want. And I just had that experience this weekend where something happened. I wasn't angry, but I was angry, meaning I was angry at what the person had given me, but my response was an angry response. Let me tell you, I'm going to be clear about that. My response was an angry response, and I got my point through, but the bottom line is that angry response did not really accomplish what I really wanted to happen.
And it can't, because it doesn't have the seed. It won't bring forth life.
Right.
So in your heart, you really always have to speak out of a goal. I'm going for this. And when we use anger, when we pick that one, gotta be careful.
Well, some people's goal is I'm gonna get them back. It's revenge. I'm gonna get them back. So anger is an easy one to get back at people. But
don't do that.
No, but actually, the principle is that you have to let God handle that.
That's right.
Ultimately, you don't get anything back. You actually you bring detriment to yourself, your own process, and you add more to them bags.
In those relationships that you were speaking of earlier,
right.
I had many reasons to go and get revenge.
Right.
But that was not an option.
Right. But you add to your bags. And so we can talk some more about bags.
Yes.
Another time we can talk about how we have to be in a process where we find a place of forgiveness. We find a way for ourselves to be free, to free ourselves and mimic the God. And let me tell you the end of the story real quick, because I promise you, if you held on, I was going to tell you the end of this story. So what happened at the end of the story, the dude that forgave the first dude that owed him all that money, and he forgave him, somebody told him that he went and browbeat this other guy for that little bit of money. Man, you owe me $100,000. You browbeating this. Enraged, but he channeled his rage, his anger, and he went back to court and says, I want to retract my forgiveness. I need him to be in jail. And so he went and got the guy picked up, and he got him put in jail. And he said, until you pay me, since that's what you believe should happen, until you pay me, I'm not letting you out.
Ta-da!
watch for that. Let me get back to my family because we're going to close out soon. We run out of time. April made a question. Some of us who hold onto things, why does this thing keep jumping? I'm sorry. I can't get it. People are coming in. Let's see. James said again, I've divorced my son because I can't handle it anymore. You're right. He's my son and I love him, but from a distance. Well, guess what? I'm not saying that you can't have different arrangements in your relationship, but what I want you, James, to really, and we'll talk about this more. Maybe I'll bring this up next time. Make sure you come on with us and have that discussion. But you have to really watch yourself when you are in those situations, because sometimes we create distance as a reason and excuse to hold on to unforgiveness, because out of sight is out of mind.
Right.
Rather than having forgiven, but making the decision and saying, but we can't live together. That's certainly a decision you can make.
I think it's important to not use anger. You have to use the position of freedom. When a child is not responding respectfully, you can say things like, wow, I'm so sorry that you're having trouble with that. But this is the consequence for that. So right. You don't have to use anger. You can just use reality.
Right.
So if the child is not responding appropriately in your space, then you get to tell them, you're not responding appropriately in my space, and so now I can't see you, I can't be with you, right. I can't identify our relationship until this gets right. But right. You can always contact that person and say, well, I love you, I just wanted to let you know I'm here.
Right.
I'm right. here.
So we'll talk about that. We'll talk about how we can use the family strengthening skills to help us really identify, and I want to use some real life dynamic and situations to connect to this. Hey, thank you so much. It's time to go. As always, we enjoy this time. Remember, hit that button, share in the corner, so you can share it out to the folks that are there. Those of you who have been listening, and I know you're listening, because when I get off of here, it's going to be like 400 people that have been watching the program. But keep coming back every Tuesday at 8:30. We appreciate you being here. We appreciate you being part of this. I love the thumbs up and the hearts. That shows me that you're with us. You appreciate what we're doing. I see Henry Gregory. Hey, Henry, it's good to see you.
Hey,
it's a beautiful thing to see you, my brother. One of the proponents and the people who help put the grounding for family strengthening.
Yes.
And so I want you to remember, you can go to our website. That's www.advice4life.us, and you can listen to an array of our programs. Maybe remember, you can go on YouTube. Search for Outlaws Jr. and we have probably 60 or 70 YouTube shows that are listed on there, and just direct your friends. If you like it, share it, and send it to folks. Let people know that you enjoy this, you appreciate this. We love you. We will see you next week at 8:30, as we do always. And remember, we also come on Tuesday evenings at 12 midnight, which in California time is 9 a.m. Yes. And we also have our Sunday program that comes on. You can stream it on iHeartRadio app, and that's Sundays at 9 a.m. And again, I'll see you back again next Tuesday at 8:30. Love you. God bless.